Hey, as many of you already know, this year has been a huge year for gacha games. In the spotlight, we of course have Genshin Impact, which has introduced millions of people to the gacha game industry. With more and more people paying attention and willing to whale in gacha games, the industry is now held to an unprecedented standard, with newer games arriving soon, as well as older titles fighting for market presence. But hey, let's step back for a second. Whether you're a gacha veteran or new to the genre, it is incredibly tough to choose which game to try out in this saturated market, and almost impossible to decide which game to invest your time and hard-earned money in. And that's why, in this video, I would like to introduce to you a game that I've been playing for almost a year and that I've absolutely enjoyed. And that game is Arknights. And I want to explain to you why you should be playing Arknights and why I think it is one of the best gacha games in the current market. So first, what is Arknights? Arknights is a single-player, tower defense, real-time strategy video game on mobile devices. It features a variety of different operators with unique abilities and skills that you can deploy tactically to clear different stages. Clearing stages reward you currency and materials, which you can use to level up your operators and their skills, enabling you to clear tougher stages and unlock new rewards and achievements. The game's content is structured into story chapters, each one progressively harder to clear than the previous one, and thus catering to a challenging experience as you progress through rich lore and breathtaking original soundtracks. But enough of that. Let's talk about why I think you should be playing Arknights. Let's break it down into 3 reasons: the gacha, the gameplay, and the community. Alright, let's get straight to the point. No fluff, no bullshit. The Arknights gacha system is incredibly generous. So earlier, I mentioned that Arknights is a tower defense game and you clear stages by deploying units. But how do you get these units? Well, of course, it's a gacha game. So while some of these units are provided to you by clearing the story, most of these operators are obtained by summoning on banners or through the recruiting system, though it currently features a more limited set of operators and the odds aren't really great at getting high rarity units, but I digress. The rarity of operators in Arknights is denoted by stars. We have 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, and 6-star operators, with some 5 and 6-star operators only available from the gacha and featured across different rate-up banners. So now that you know a bit about the Arknights gacha system, why do I think it is generous? First, free shit. Arknights is one of the few gacha games that rewards you with premium currency as you play through the story and clear the stages for the first time, as with most gacha games, but also at the end game on a recurring basis. While quite a few gacha games struggle to provide players with a consistent inflow of premium currency after they clear all content, Arknights continues to do so. In Arknights, there are 2 premium currencies called Arundum and Originite Prime. And without going into too much detail, both of these currencies allow you to roll for characters. In Arknights, you can earn Arundum every week by completing daily and weekly missions and clearing Annihilation, which is a dedicated mode for farming weekly Arundum. And on top of that, if you are a light spender and buy the $5 monthly card, which is kind of like a monthly subscription, you could accumulate 6 Originite Primes and 6,000 Arundum over the course of a month. If none of this made any sense to you, all I'm trying to say is that Arknights has a generous system in place that enables late to endgame players to continuously earn premium currency to save for future banners. And second, and most importantly, and of course this is going to blow you out of the water, you don't need any 6-star operators to beat the entire game. Believe me, I have every 6-star operator that currently exists, and I still struggle to complete some of the stages. And then you see plenty of guides on YouTube by creators like tnbee and Ecojin that will clear everything with a 3-star or 4-star team. And yes, at the end of the day, using a 6-star will make the game easier, but this is just to prove that swiping in Arknights is not necessary to beat the game. And this leads me directly to gameplay. Now, before I discovered Arknights, When I thought about the tower defense genre, the only thing that came to mind was Bloons Tower Defense, a game that showcased a variety of monkeys with darts and boomerangs and a ton of different balloons that traveled from one entrance of the map to the exit. It was a lot of fun in my childhood. It still brings back a lot of memories. And if you enjoyed that, Arknights has much more to offer than you can imagine. First, let's talk about map design. As you experience more and more of Arknights, you'll find a variety of maps to test your team composition. Here's one of the first stages introduced to you. Enemies come out of the red square, and if they reach the blue square, you lose. Simple enough, right? But as you clear more stages, you'll find that enemies start coming out of multiple red squares, and your blue squares become multiple blue squares, and then squares are just thrown into random locations, and enemies can take shortcuts from one area of the map to another, and yeah, it becomes a considerable challenging experience, which is amazing content. Next, operators. At the time of recording, Arknights has 168 operators, and they are sorted into different classes. We have vanguards who help generate deployment points, defenders for tanking and blocking enemies, guards for dealing melee damage, snipers and casters for range damage, medics for healing, and specialists and support units for crazy shenanigans. I didn't really know how to characterize them. But the point is that there are so many operators that you can use in your squad that it opens up so many placement scenarios and playstyles, making Arknights feel like a tower defense game solely focused on strategy. And lastly, let's talk about the objectives. Arknights is slowly breaking the mold of the classic tower defense genre by introducing dynamic gameplay elements. With the recent release of Chapter 8, you'll find that the actual gameplay in Arknights is not only to defeat the enemies before they reach the blue squares. You have to break terrain and guard civilians from being killed, you have to assist NPCs in reaching their checkpoint, and you have to use your operators to body block civilians from an onslaught of fireballs. God, you stupid civilians. And again, this just goes to show how dynamic of a strategy game Arknights is, and how it transcends the age-old archetype of the tower defense genre. And lastly, I want to address the wonderful community behind Arknights. And I want to talk about this in the context of my personal experience. As all of you know, COVID had a terrible impact on everything. Loved ones were dying, businesses and universities were going remote, stores and restaurants were shutting down. Life just sucked. And like many, I felt isolated. As an introvert, I thought that I would be fine. But nonetheless, I wanted that social interaction. I wanted the warmth of a close-knit community. And that's when I discovered Arknights. I tuned into Arknights streams on Twitch and joined several Discord communities, and I immediately discovered this passion, this strong passion to help new players and existing players enjoy the game for what it was. I would see people providing active advice on which operators to roll for, which operators to build, how to clear specific stages, and even some members were willing to handhold others through the tougher stages. And that's when I realized that this game was much more than a mobile gacha game. It was a vibrant community. When new banners were released, many of us would just hop on a Discord call and stream our posts to each other. Every event was a festive community experience and another opportunity for us to nerd out about the game with each other. Now, almost a year later, I felt like I made some of my lifelong friends from this Arknights community. And all of this is why I have decided to become an Arknights content creator. I want to give back to this community that gave me so much joy and see this community grow and reach a wider audience no matter how old the game gets, because I truly believe that it is a well-developed game with a beautiful community. So whether you're an existing player or hearing about this game for the first time, I encourage you to play Arknights, and I think you'll enjoy it. If you decide to try it out or have any thoughts, please let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions or would just like to hang out, you can check me out at twitch.tv/Viper_AK. And you can also join our Discord to get notifications, chat about Arknights, and just hang out. And with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.